Truth Talks. Please, I'm excited about the Truth Talks. They are addressing true fellowship and what it means, what true fellowship and corporate worship looks like according to the Bible.
This handy dandy handout sheet is like considered a cheat sheet. I love cheat sheets because they always make my job easier in the Navy. The only reason I got advanced is because I took the advancement exam enough times. I promise you, I studied, but I studied the questions that I got wrong more than anything else because I eventually learned that the Navy only has roughly, I think it's 4 to 6 exams. So I took them all. It was better to have a good memory than try to learn all that stuff. So eventually I remembered everything and that system started to work. It took me a couple times, but eventually I got there. So cheat sheets help. All right. They'll give you the upper leg because you can look on here and when we're talking about who's who in the zoo, we see that when you look at Saul, I know it's very tiny at the top. What? What happened? Who's who in the zoo? Who's who in the zoo? You ain't never heard that before? Yeah, that's how it goes. So you look at Saul at the top. Saul had Samuel, but that line should go a little bit further. I'm pointing out how these prophets are getting ready to start intermingling with these tribes because right now you just see it's one line going at the top. One line that goes from Saul to David to good old Solomon, who we are currently talking about. I'm giving you this sheet so you'll see things to come. I know it's hard. If you want, go to the backboard whenever you get a chance and just take a look at it, compare it, put notes where you need to. This is the paper you can write on because it's going to come. It's going to come fast because we're going to be talking about these prophets that we can get to, the ones that had words for the kingdom. I'm saying that because Solomon's getting ready to start his work in Jerusalem. The last thing we heard was it was some turmoil in the house. All right, there was turmoil in the house. David took care of that by talking to Bathsheba and Nathan, got it all straightened out. So now, all right, I know some people did. All right, so in 38, Solomon is anointed king at Gibeon. He's anointed king. All right, so Zadok the priest, Nathan the prophet, Benaiah son of Jehoiada, and the Sherites and the Phelites. Now the reason why those two were there, that was the army. That was the preceding army that went out with the largest group, the ones that brought the battle. So those two armies was the ones that was leading the charge. All right, so consider a procession. The armies, his priest, and his general, sort of, riding down with him. David is already given the go-ahead. He's going down there to make his slaughterings. He's being anointed. We all know how the anointed goes in the scriptures. It's going to be oil to the head because this is God's doing. If you notice, it's completely different than his brother when he went up there and just decided he was going to do it himself. All right, so he got his crew. And it called Solomon to ride upon, this is where we left off, the donkey, David's mule, and brought him to Gibeon. All right, and Zadok the priest took the horn of oil. This happened with the first king. So they took him up the hill. Now remember, the oil in the horn, the first time, right? This is how Samuel anointed Saul. This is how Samuel anointed David. So we see that this kinglyship is just not being passed on. There's certain things that have to happen. This anointing is taking place, right? That is also the anointing of the head that was prepared later on. This anointing is going to always, the anointing is there. The anointing is there, all right? All right, so they anointed him out of the tabernacle, anointed Solomon, and they blew the trumpet. And all the people said, God save the king. All right, remember, we hear God long live the king lives forever, God save the king. These are terms that we hear. It's saying this person is going to rule in this throne because God is saving him. Remember, other kings was just getting taken out of here. The people are putting this on Solomon. And all the people, see, came up after him, and the people with pipes and rejoiced in great joy. So the earth rent with the sounds of it, meaning all of Israel that day, all of the voices screaming loud for Solomon. Well, not all of them, because there's some people missing, right? There's some people missing on the hill. All right, so his brother Adoniah and all the guests that were with him heard it. So these people aren't in the room. The people who heard the information that was supposed to be Solomon is the king decided to go up here and anoint him, even though they all had this information. So they're eating. And when who's there? of course, Joab heard the sound of the trumpet, he said, wherefore is this noise of the city being in an uproar? Again, those who were in the wrong place did not know what's going on. They do not understand the changing of the throne. They thought they could just do it their way. We see it's being done this way, and the people who did not follow what God said are left out. Celebrating nonetheless, but their celebration is now rent with horror, is now draped in it because they realize they're in the wrong place celebrating. All right. It says, Joel says, wherefore is this noise of the city being uproar? And while he spoke, behold, Jonathan, son of Abiathar, a priest, came. So he wasn't there. He coming up. He's bringing the news because the priests run things in the temple. He comes up. He said, Ananias said unto him, come in, for thou art a valiant man, and I bring his good tidings. Jonathan like, maybe not. And Jonathan said to Ananias, verily, verily, our Lord King David have made Solomon king. Straight to the chase. All your flattery, everything that you thought you could try to woo me in with the rest of the group, nope, I came up here to deliver a message. David has made Solomon king. And the king hath sent with him Zadok the priest, Nathan the prophet, and Benaniah, the son of Jehoiada. Now, when you hear this, Joab is probably like, this is definitely not good for me. Because if David had sent those people, right? And if I was where I was supposed to be, I probably got sent with them. But instead, I got sent for. It's a completely different type of sending. So Joab is on the send for mindset here. And Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet, they all went and anointed him and Ginnah, and they are coming up for thence rejoicing. You wanted to know where that sound was coming from? Well, here's your answers. So the city rang out, this is the noise you have heard. And also Solomon setteth on the throne of the kingdom. Solomon is there. All right. And moreover, king and servant, bless the Lord. David said, God. So Solomon is taking his throne. All right. If you continue to read on that, you'll see Solomon goes on. He goes up there. He makes his offering to God. He makes himself, it says right here, if you go to 52, and Solomon said, if he wills show him a worthy man, there shall not be a hair. He's talking about his brother. Remember, I told you his brother's going to get off the hook. He doesn't kill him. He just kind of gives him a reprieve. Now, remember, I didn't give the whole story of Solomon coming down, asking Solomon. Solomon said, look, man, I'm not going to do it. Just go home. It's already a hectic day. Just go home. The last line and the last thing he says to his brother is, just go home. Go to the house. So right now, his brother is like, I don't know what is going to happen. This is a kingdom. I tried to take over the kingdom. I tried to take it by force. Well, not by force. I tried to take it more with flattery because he didn't really attack anybody, but if the attacks would have came if it would have been success. Bathsheba knew that. So this whole thing, his brother, now he has to stew with that. So Solomon does what is supposed to be done. He's already in the kingdom. The throne is already his. He seeks the wisdom of previous kings. David is on his last leg. He's dying. And now he's going to give Solomon some advice. So those who read ahead know that David's advice was more so, I said I wasn't going to do anything. However, I didn't say that somebody wasn't going to do something. Now, David, he's going to tell him about the temple. He's going to tell him about all the beauty of it, but he's going to give him a lot of warnings in this chapter as we roll through it. So now David, chapter 2:1. Now David, now the days of David drew nigh, or an end, that he should die. And he charged Solomon saying, I go the way of all of the earth, meaning I go to die. This flesh is gone. Be thou strong, therefore, and show thyself a man. Solomon is a kid, but David is now telling him, you have to show yourself to be a man. You have to run this kingdom. You already seen what happened before you even got on the throne. You have to be a man. And keep the charge of what the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways and to keep his statutes and his commandment and his judgment and his testimony as they are written in the laws of Moses. Thou mayest prosper in all thy do, and whether, this is real. And whatsoever thou turnest thyself, right? Everything is going to prosper in any direction you go. You're going to see it. We saw that with Solomon. Solomon was known as one of the richest, wisest kings. because everywhere he went, he prospered every turn. All right. So the Lord may continue his words, which he told me concerning, saying, if thy children take heed to their ways and walk before in truth, all their hearts and with all their souls, they should not fail. Now, this right here is another thing that David is saying to Solomon. He's saying, if this is the one thing that passed to all of our lineage forever. Don't forget this part. If you walk the way that God said, the kingdom will prosper under you because you'll get everything. This is the one thing. I think if anything had to be written on the front of a door before you walk out your room, that would have been the one thing. Wow, the whole line in the throne is on me today. And walk out and you do what you're supposed to. According to what God tells you, the whole throne is on the line. According to me, the whole throne is on the line this day. The whole throne is on the line every day. Because it just said it right here. If you do this, prosper. Everybody. The next generation, hey, do what you're supposed to. But those who have read ahead know the tragedy of that not being passed down. In fact, when we say those who read ahead, if you came for Daniel, I'm pretty much giving you echoes of things that already have taken place. You know, when we look at this, we're just hearing the echoes of the people who were worthy enough to give us a voice in a time where we weren't there. So we get to hear these echoes. We get to hear what David is saying to his son. Now, after David gives him all of that and told him he can't fail, all right, and said, fell thee a man on the throne of Israel. There'll never be. It'll always be somebody from this line if you do what y'all supposed to. Moreover, so here's where he said, all right, now I'm giving you all the good stuff. He said, but he said, moreover, thou knowest also what Joab, son of Zeruiah, did to me. All right. And what he did to the captains of Israel, Abner, son of Ner, and unto Ammah, the son of Jether, whom he slew and slew the blood of war and peace. Now, y'all remember what he did. Everybody was like, oh, he getting these guys back, because of Absalom. Nope. He didn't bring Absalom up. I mean, Absalom probably was somewhere in there because that one hurt David. But it was justified because all of Israel was saying, hey, you letting Absalom get away with this. And he said, I can't hurt him. So Joab, he fell on Absalom. But it was other people. When Abner came after Saul fell, they came to make peace. What did Joab do? I remember when that time we had that battle down there, and you killed my brother. I ain't forgot. Come on over here and face this retribution. Yeah, I'm not even going to ask David if this is okay. I'm not consulting with God. I'm going for revenge. This is me. So Joab's name has been what I call put on the list. As simple as that. Joab's name has been spoken by the king. Ill of.
The whole thing was he was doing it during peacetime.
Yeah.
No war between anything. He was doing it during peacetime for something that happened during the war.
For any reason. And it would have been justified. Why? Because we're hearing the echoes. David could have said this because he spent around 3 times and jumped up and down. If God said don't do that, then David is just echoing what was already said. Not saying it's not. I'm 100% agree. David is echoing this guy went against something that wasn't supposed to be done in Israel. I didn't lay a hand on him, but son, you should be wary of him. All right? He did a lot of different things. Now, he didn't actually tell Solomon to do anything to him. He said that was about his loins and his shoes worn. He just said, don't let that guy live long. Do therefore according to thy wisdom, and let not his hairs on his head go down to the grave. Basically, don't let that man die with gray hairs. Don't let him do that. Yeah, that's all he said. Don't let him die with gray hairs. I mean, he could have let him stay alive for another year using the cabinet as much as he want, but he gave him that option. Don't let him go down in the grave with gray hair. So, don't let him live long. If you let him live, don't let him live long. That was a stern warning from Father. But then he said, well, let me tell you about Shimei, the son of the Gerite, a Benjamite. You remember him? Yeah, Dad, I remember. No. I was walking down the road, and he was throwing rocks at me and calling me all types of dirty names and everything. And everybody wanted to kill that man. They wanted to jump down on him that day, and I said, nope. if it's the will of God, this is why I'm getting this reprieve. This is why it's being said to me. But lo and behold, son, take care of him too. Put him on the list. So another name goes on the list. Now, how many names on Solomon's list? Three. You got a brother that's sitting at home stewing, don't know what's going on. You got a king that just told him about one of his generals that he's on the list, and a guy who insulted me that is somebody that's still closest kin, because remember, when things get a little hectic, the tribes of Benjamin and Judah, those are the ones that come together. Keep in mind, these are kingdom movements. Go ahead.
You have to look at 7 too now. He also saying who was beneficial to him. Who you will let eat at my table, at your table. So he's being kind to them because they were kind to him. Yeah, so the what part of the
I got too far. Well, that was one. It was one act of kindness.
yeah, one act.
Two acts of hit and one act of kindness. All right. So, but show kindness to the sons of Barzillai, the Gileadite. Remember, they went in and helped them, or he was on a run, and let them be of those that eat at the table. To me, so it wasn't all rain down thunder. It was some kindness in there. Now, therefore, hold him. Well, continue. It says, and thou shalt be. I'm 8. And behold, thou hast with thee Shammai, the son of the Gerite, the Benjamite of Ben Hurim, which cursed me with a grievous curse in the days when I went out to Mahananim, and I swear to him by the Lord, saying, I will not put thee to death with the sword. Therefore, hold him not guiltless, for thou art a wise man, and knowest what thou ought to do to him. But his hair should not go down to the grave. Again, he don't need to go down to the hair's grave. So you see the act of kindness. The act of kindness is those who are kind to me. But you see what David is saying, even in death, those who done me wrong, and I said I would not do nothing to them. But I never said you wouldn't do anything to him.
David kept his word.
He kept David's man of his word. Again, you got to say, David did what he said he was going to do. He didn't hurt him. All right. And now we finally get to the beginning of Kings and or the end and the beginning of Samuel in proper order. If you were to put this into say, hey, where do we start? If I wanted to start of Solomon, I would say, hey, this is kind of where you get to. You get little sprinkles of Solomon, but if you stand with David's whole line, you get right here. So David slept with his fathers and was buried in the city of David. In the days that he reigned over Israel 40 years, and 7 years he reigned in Hebron, and 33 years he reigned in Jerusalem. Then sat upon the throne sat upon the throne of David, his father. The king was established greatly. So now Solomon is on the throne. Young Solomon. So young Solomon is on the throne and he's sitting there. Now everything that's been said to Solomon is act how? He told Solomon to do kind of 2 ways to act. One with God and the other one was wisely. Yeah, even in avenging, he always said, now I'm telling you, go ahead and avenge me, but just do it wisely. All right, so we're getting ready to see how wise actions, and Solomon says, well, if my dad promised not to lay a hand, I got to figure out a way not to lay a hand on him either. Well, who do I got in my cabinet that is known for putting dogs down? You remember when we read about him in Chronicles? The one who said, hey, I'm going to just go on down here and fight this lion. I'm going to wrestle with it. But who is better to send out the door than a man who is always ready to go out the door? So Solomon starts to do what he do. All right. So Adoniah, the son of Haggith, he came to Bathsheba, the mother of Solomon. She was like, hey, man, you come peacefully? Because, I mean, I know things is bad for you over here right now. Are you coming in peace? And I said, hey, I'm here in peace. He said, I got somewhat to say to you. She said, speak, say on, tell me. He said, thou knowest that the kingdom was mine. You're starting this conversation off wrong. How? How can you sit up here and say such an absurd thing knowing that it's all types of decrees and rules? So you opened your mouth with a lie. Who gave him the kingdom?
Wait. We take back that verse. Did you just say, was he not older
Is that what you just said, BJ?
Yeah.
Was he not older? Are you paying an advocate over here? Does it matter what his age was?
You don't understand something. He's not got to that part yet. He's speaking on his terms of what his rights, what he thought would be his privilege.
Okay. So and I understand that. I totally understand what he thought. But there's a such thing called a superseding truth to what you may think.
Not to the
Superseding truth in all the Chronicles. No, it hadn't hit him. It should have hit him when David said, Solomon, God said that Solomon was going to be the king. He actually went and told him.
Come on, keep on.
Okay, I mean, even with the explanation.
We can stop at this statement right here, BJ.
I got
All Brother Walker is saying is this is a lie.
You don't have to
And I'm gonna
defend
read
him.
it out.
I'll defend him.
No, I'm not. I'm defending the text.
Okay.
You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. He says, you know that the kingdom was mine. That's the first statement.
He said, however, though.
It says all Israel expected me to be king. That's not true.
Again,
Didn't expect him to be
everything he's saying is laid on a false foundation. Again, his mind, listen, his mind may say that the foundation is level. It was supposed to be mine. All of Israel believe it, but let's look at the truth. There was a decree that came out that he probably was there at that banquet they ate, right?
There's a word called however.
However follows.
Yeah.
What came before, however? See, what came before, however, was stamped. It was a master stamp on it. Like you can have, somebody say, hey, how to master stamp? Like something master, you don't get past the master stamp. So if it's a rule, they say, don't cross the street or you're gonna die. He crossed the street. For whatever reason, it was on the other side of that street, whether it was his birthright, whether it was a Christmas tree, whether it was all types of presents. The moment he crossed that tree, permanent stamp.
But reality starts to say
it's already too late for reality.
He says, however, go ahead.
It's already too late for reality. Reality set in.
Yeah, I said it.
Saying, I know the kingdom was mine, and all of Israel set their face on me, that I should reign. Howbeit the kingdom turned about, meaning how dare they turn on me? Howbeit they turn on me, right? Turn about, and it's become my brother. Like, how'd that happen? For it was his from the Lord. So everything, but what I'm saying is he's saying all of this, knowing he's piling up on a lie on top of the truth.
You got a purpose, keep going.
Oh, his purpose is to lead to death. You see, the whole thing here is his purpose is leading him to death.
He's just digging a deeper hole.
Right. And the thing is, I want you to understand in this text, he's digging a hole based off information he doesn't know, which means he's operating in the same way he went up to the hill and operated blindly. He didn't come down with sight. When he got sent home, that was his moment for his brain to click in and say, oh my goodness, this is really bad for me. Horribly bad for me. To the point of most texts, you probably should have heard something like this in medieval times and great, like how the stories are written to build up the drama. They would have said, and Adoniah, he escaped in the middle of the night with a couple people with him and they got away. No, this fool doubled down on the disrespect. He went to this woman's house to ask her something outrageous. Hey, you know your son, the one that's sitting on the throne, this should be mine, because guess what? Birthright, lineage, all that stuff say so, but God said it. How are we going to let this happen? Well, look, I know I'm here, and I know you're a little mad at me because of what I did, but you think I can get one of David's concubines? How about I insult everything that we know of the rules of Israel? Just give me one. How many death sentences do you have to stomp down before something wakes you up and say, this doesn't make sense? If I had to take a lesson to say, hey, to the non-believer, you want to know what blindness looks like? This is what it looks like. This is walking into your own death willingly, because this is what the non-believer does. He still doesn't understand that Solomon is the king and this is the queen. You're missing steps here, brother. You're not going to make it. There is no sequel for you. Your chances are running slim. Oh, no, what'd she say?
sideways too, but go ahead.
He said, and now. I mean, he didn't say it like, he came and said, let me ask one petition. Deny me not. He said, say, I speak in prayer to you. Solomon is the king, for he will not say thee nay. Because if you ask him, you know, they give me Abishag, the Shumite, to wife. And Bathsheba said, well, I'll speak to thee up for the king. I'll go.
Okay, she didn't know. She didn't know what he was up to, but she don't know the rules.
Again, this is how blindness affects. This is how blindness affects. He came and she thinking, well, it's over. Now, David has already spoke to him. David has already put a battery, what I call a charge in Solomon's back. When the moment he said that Joab and Shimei was game on, you didn't think Solomon said, well, shoot, who else? Who else? I already got the green light for 2 people. Might as well make it 3. So this man right here, because Solomon's going to say something very specific when he gets there. Okay, I'll get to it. It's such a good story. Yo, man, yo, look, I'll get to it now. Don't make me skip over nothing. All right. And Bathsheba said, I'll go speak to him. Bathsheba, therefore, she left. She goes to speak to King Solomon on his behalf. And the king rose up to meet his mom and bowed himself to her. I love my mom. Bow my head to her. Show her respect. She's coming in. She's the queen. All right. Bowed himself to her and sat down on his throne. Got up, bowed down, sat back down. Typical day for Solomon, a young king. All right. Now remember, how old is Solomon at this age? Let's say like 12, 13-ish. Let's 13, 14-ish. So this man is already understanding the reverence of how to act. He's listened to his dad. Now I say this. It's a story. I can't say it's true, but I like to think about it. And so it helped me go through Psalms 119. They said Psalms 119 was David teaching Solomon the alphabet. But in the process, he was teaching him the ways of God through there. And that's why it's so long and it's right there smack dab in the middle of the book. He was teaching them. I know that's how they arranged it, but I like to look at it like that because it's really long. And it's also every opening of those Psalms is the Hebrew alphabet. All right, that's just a little tidbit about that. So Solomon he's acting very wise. And Solomon said to his mother, oh, I want to skip that. All right, and I said, I have not desired one small petition. I pray thee that they say nay. All right. And the king said to her, ask my mother, for I will not say nay. She tricked him. She used her mother. Why would you ask me this? Go ahead.
What's in it for Bathsheba?
Nothing.
No, I'm serious. Because Al said, you just said that she was tricked.
She wasn't tricked.
What was in it? I'll answer the question and I'll see somebody else say. What was in it for her is just love for her son. Is there anything else in it for Bathsheba other than her love for her son at the son who's asking? Is there anything else in it?
Exactly.
For her?
She's taking a request. It's not a deception. It's not that. She's just taking a request to the king.
Right.
That's why he utilized her. But here's the thing. She's still unaware of the request. Remember what I said. Remember what I said. His blindness has blinded her. Hey, let's go and do this. Can you take that to the king? Her first response should have been like, isn't that David's concubine? Like, so again, we do. Well, we see.
Know how concubines work and all that? But wouldn't that have came to her mind and be like, actually, no, I can't do that, or I shouldn't do that?
Well, again, these are not tests for Bathsheba. These are not tests for Adoniah. They're the ones we get to see and say, well, that's crazy what they're doing. You know what this is a test for? Solomon. How he's going to rule. Are you going to give away your dad's concubine? Now your dad did. I guess all the women that your dad cared about, they just free game for everybody. No, it don't work like that. Those were David's women. Don't do that. And
right to the kingdom if you married a concubine. That's what he wanted. If I could marry a concubine and then put me back in the right position to be king. So she wasn't looking like that.
No,
Your mom,
right.
can you go to son? And because why else would he want to marry her? You know, he becomes more of the heir to the, because he married his dad concubine. So now that sets him back up to suggest that I should be the king, look who I'm married to.
I got you. I'm clear on his intentions, but I.
Oh, everybody had, he came with ill intentions. All right. First of all, asking for your father's wife, that's ill intentions. The mother, Bathsheba, good or bad intentions, don't say, she took the request. That's what it was. She took the request. So when we see the request, whatever her transportation of that word was just to get to Solomon. So we could see how Solomon handled his brother. All right. According to what his brother did, his brother was okay. If his brother would have stayed in the house, his brother would have been okay. Because I'll tell you, Solomon said something right then and there that puts it to rest. Yes, because if she was, he would have been right there with it.
It's your brother, and I'm gonna go to him for you, but he was the one that was doing the treachery.
He tried to mom and pop her.
Yeah, I'm clear on that.
That's what he tried to mom and pop her.
The individual accountability standpoint, forget what his motives were. Just in the mind of Bathsheba as queen, as David's wife, I'm sure she understood the ramifications by any man asking for her husband's concubine. Forget that it's her son. Just understanding that on strict physical rules, not, you know what I'm saying?
No, I totally agree.
General rules.
I totally agree. And one second. And who's to say that Bathsheba herself didn't know this is going to lead this man to the grave? We don't know Bathsheba's intentions, but we know one thing, that Bathsheba took this message. She took it. We don't know why. We don't know her intentions. We know that Joab was up to something by asking for his dad's concubine, we know that this could tie into something, but we don't know why Bathsheba did it. But we know she did it. All right, sorry.
Now, and we can look at this from our timeline. Women are more outspoken now. Okay, and like if I was to say something to my mom nowadays, she might turn me around. But back then, when men spoke, women weren't so outspoken or brash as they are in our days. But this is a man speaking to me, though he's my son. He's a man speaking to me, and it was more reserved. Women was more reserved than that. So we can't look at it through the eyes now, because a woman nowadays will cuss you out.
All right, so and a lot of the rules didn't change either. All right, so a lot of the rules didn't change. If you go and read Esther, right, who was authorized to walk up to the king? The rules didn't change. He asked Bathsheba for the sheer fact that he knew she could take that message directly to him. He didn't have to go arounds. He didn't have to go through the priest. He didn't have to set up a meeting. He asked her, and she took it.
Because he said, "Do not deny me."
Do not deny me.
And the same thing she's gonna say to Solomon.
And she's gonna say to Solomon, "Do not deny me." All right. And King Solomon answered his mother. And King Solomon answered his mother and said unto his mother, "Why do you ask me about Agashah and Shemaiah for Adoniah? You might as well go ahead and ask for the kingdom. For also he is my elder brother, even for him and for Abiathar the priest, and for Joab the son of Zeruiah." The king swore by saying, "God do to me so more also, if Adoniah have spoke a word against his own life. Now therefore, as the Lord liveth, with he established me and set me on the throne of David my father, who hath made me a house and promise. As he promised, Adoniah shall be put to death this day." And a King Solomon, by the hand of who? The hitman, Benaniah, the son of Jehoiada, he went up there and he fell dead. So what I want to understand is like this. We got through all the Bathsheba, possible conversation and dialogue. Solomon said, if you're asking this of me, remember, then I might as well give him my kingdom, because this request that you're asking is just the first. It's just the first to get his foot in the door so he can keep on wiggling his way through. It's just the first. So I already had a list that my dad gave me, but guess what? I was waiting for it to kick that off and to set it in motion, but you know what? You're the starter. Go get him. And I think the way it's written, as you can see, it's justified. Not only was he asking Solomon to defy what God said to do, remember, these are commandments, He also knew that he also knew he was coming at God himself. You might as well tell me, I might as well give him the throne. And who gave me the throne? God. So this man is trying to take what God has given me. The blessing it. Nah, today he dies. All right, so Abathar. All right, now Abathar is the priest. And I respect Solomon for this. Solomon said, Abathar, you're a priest. I'm not going to kill you. You just can't come back in Jerusalem. You got to go. See you later. Oh, this punishment is too bad for me. Well, you could die. I mean, I just took my own brother out. Just be fortunate. I'm just telling you, you got to leave the city. So Solomon thrust out Abathar, being a priest unto the Lord, that he might fulfill the word of the Lord, which spoke concerning of who? Eli. Y'all remember Eli? Long time ago. Remember Eli, whole priest line was going to get kicked out? This was all during Solomon and the age. Don't do that. We ain't forget. All right. So Joab heard the bad news. All right. When Joab heard the bad news, Joab said, I got to get out of town. But getting out of town ain't good enough. I think if I went and hide in the temple, he won't kill me. That's what Joab did. And it says, and tidings came to Joab, and Joab had turned to Adoniah, though he turned after not Absalom. Nah. So Joab fled unto the tabernacle of the Lord and caught hold of the horns of the altar. So he's in there. He's not just in there, he's in there. All right, and it was told to King Solomon, Joab fled unto the tabernacle of the Lord, and behold, he is by the altar. And Solomon sent who? The son of Jehodiah, saying, go and fall upon him. And Benaniah came to the tabernacle of the Lord and said to him, thus saith the king, come out. Like, you're not getting out of this. Come out. Just come out. And Joab said, no, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and stay here. This is the safest place in the kingdom right now. In fact, I'm just going to be in here. I brought enough provisions. I'm not coming outside. And Benaiah brought the word to the king and said, hey, he wouldn't come out. And the king said unto him, do as he said. Kill him right where he stands. Solomon's a no-nonsense type of guy. He knows, he follows, he's decisive. Now, this is before Solomon asked for this wisdom. So Solomon is doing all this with the guidance of his father. He's just executing the plans as they come. And some may say this looks sloppy. The casting out, the killing of the brother. This is a hard way to start your reign. But Solomon is putting things back in place. So when the time comes, he doesn't have unpeaceful parts shaking the peace that God already said he was going to create for Solomon. Remember, Solomon is to be known as what? Peaceful. Peaceful. No war at all. So you can't have these people that your dad was warring with, that your brother tried to take when you're trying to accomplish the greatness of God. You can't have wars about you. You got to put that down and carry the peace. And Solomon is carrying his peace. He's putting the people out that don't belong around him for his peace. All right. And the Lord shall return the blood upon his head, because he told him, Joab, who fell upon two men righteous, better than he, and slew them with a sword. My father David, knowing thereof, to wit, Abner, the son of Ner, captain of hosts, that was one, and Amasa, the son of Jether, captain of the host of Judea. Their blood shall therefore return to the head of Joab, and upon his head, upon the head of his seed forever. But upon David and his seed, and upon his house and his throne shall there be peace from the Lord. So Benaniah, he went and did what he was told. He slew him and buried him in his own house in the wilderness. And the king put Benaniah, the son of Jehoiada, in his room over the host. As Zadok the priest did the king put in the room of in the spot of Abathar. So now we have what was already in a coronation form. Now we have a leader of your army. He basically slayed one of the top men that was in David's army. Remember, they was getting busy. But now that leader is gone. It's the Solomon's army. So under Solomon's reign, I want to paint this picture. He has a priest. He has a host, a captive host. When they say host, this means his entire army. He has his army, but then he has an army that's bigger. So he's the host over his entire army. He gives out the orders, right? He has seers. He has Nathan and Gad. They don't show these on those sheets. You just see Solomon going all the way down there. But he had seers. Nathan and Gad did not abandon Solomon. We just don't have a lot of records of what they said and did. I don't think it was quiet, but as you can see, a lot of those books were destroyed. Why? Because Israel is going to start to get destroyed. So a lot of their history and the things that was recorded by the prophets goes down in the way of destruction. All right, so Joab is out of there. Now, Shimei, I think we can get through this. Shimei. All right, so the king sent and called Shimei. All right, come on back. And said unto him, build thee a house in Jerusalem and dwell there. Now he put him out. Ain't bringing him back. Build yourself a house here and do not leave. It's a simple rule. Just stay here. Don't go outside. Because I need you close. Now remember, this is the wipeout. When I say the wipeout, it's like this. I used to read the Stephen King book. And the Stephen King book had this thing in there. And I'm not going to go into the story, but the thing was, the monster came in the beginning of the story. And he said, he whispered in the person's ear. And he said, what did you tell him? And he said, if I say the specific number ever, I'm going to die. And she said, why is that a problem? He said, because eventually I'm going to dream about that number. I'm going to think about that number. I'm going to start seeing that number in places because it's the one thing you told me not to do. I'm going to want to do it because you told me not to. Somebody could say this man was better off left outside of the kingdom than actually told and then brought back in. And now you know the thing that at least, when it comes to Joab didn't know that death was coming. That's why he got word of it and he ran, he hid. His brother, he didn't know death was coming. But this guy knew it was only one thing that would cause his life. Just one. He said, don't leave the city. You can build a house. Just don't leave. Now we know that this man had to build up his house because he built his house up enough to have what? We know this man was there and he built up a house because this man had what? In his house. He had servants. This man had amassed enough comfortability to have servants. All right. Now, I know people in New York, friends from New York, and I say, man, you a New Yorker, true and true? He said, yes, I am. I said, have you ever left your borough? Out? No. He said, when it comes to New York, I've only been to this borough. This guy was basically told, just stay in this borough. Just stay here. Don't move. So how many people think he stayed? Oh, man. So we already see this kingdom is, when you read David's story and you're like, Dad, David had it rough. When you really see what Solomon is going through just in the beginning, he's already had to kill 2 people, 3 people, 4 people. He had to kill people. That's a rough way to start. But Solomon is doing what he's told. All right. So it says on this day that I go out and passes over the brook, he could have even went to the brook. He could have went to the, thou shalt surely, what do you say you should surely do? It sounds very like the thou shalt surely die. It seemed like if I would have heard that, been an Israelite, made sure I had mental notes of things, and I would have went through all of the times that I've heard the religious leaders say, thou shalt die. And then things would have clicked, click, thou shalt die. Man, if you just, thou shalt die. Man, this is a lot. And then I would have got to one thing. It would have took me all the way back to creation. God said, don't do that or you will die. That's another thing. Put that right there on the list of things that have been told to you. Don't do it. And what did he do? He did it. He did it. And Shimei, well, if he had an out of bounds pass, it would have been another thing on top of that. Don't go out. See, this is the thing I think about anybody who broke a rule in the Bible. Henceforth, the rule breaker myself. All right. Anybody who breaks a rule, you know what? You can give them another rule. They're just going to find a way to break that. I got several 96s, and I always went 461 miles. Wink, wink. Philadelphia's 485 just to start. So, well, when the pictures come up and you see, and there's a big sign behind me saying Philadelphia, they know where I'm at. Hey, you know, man, you know how many people get caught? If social media was running rampant as much as it is, there'd be a lot of Marines and sailors going to mass. And it already is, but I'm talking about for the things that we did. So, yeah. You hear people saying, man, if my car break down and I'm in Philadelphia, I'm going to catch a bus to Delaware. What? Because you knew you wasn't supposed to be in Philadelphia. Henceforth, I think if he would have said, you can go outside of Jerusalem, you can do this. Just don't go to that side of the wall on Tuesday at 8 o'clock with a black shoe on with two other people standing there singing. He would have found a way to do exactly that. You why? It was the will of God for it to happen.
Say the law aroused sin.
Right.
And that's what the law did. It aroused. It makes you want to do the hours.
He was ready to go.
But the king told him
All right,
to
there
do
you
it.
go.
But it aroused disobedience.
And he died. He died not of his own volition, chasing after someone else. Now, servants were important. But let's go back to it because we wrapping this up. This chapter. I'm going to read it, but we're going to talk about keep in mind slaves are important, right? Because I want y'all to hear what this guy did. And the king said it's good. He said himself, this is good. I agree. You have gave me something that is better than what I had when you put me out. Thank you. And Shimei said unto the king, well, the priest is out. I'm sorry, I keep mixing them two up. He said, because he lives here. He said, good. As my lord the king has said, so thy servant Shimei, who dwelt in Jerusalem. Now, this is the benchmark. He's getting this break. And it came to pass at the end of the year, the end of 3 years, it only took him 3 years, two of his servants, Shimei, ran away unto Achish, the son of Machan, right? King of Gath. Not only did your slaves run away, they ran to the Philistines in Gath. So they ran away to Gath, and he says, and it was told to Solomon that Shimei had gone from Jerusalem to Gath and was coming again. Now, I just told you not to leave. I don't care what your reason is, because I want y'all to see this, the wisdom of Solomon. I told you not to leave. That was already grounds for killing you. But look what it said. It said he was coming from Gath back to Jerusalem. I got to kill you, one, because I told you not to leave, but two, I don't know what you just went over there and did with my enemies. You are a problem. You were a problem from the start. My daddy told me that I shouldn't let you have your hair go gray. Don't worry about it. I have somebody just for you. So let's see how this go. And Shimei rose and saddled his donkey and went to Gath, Achish, to seek his servants, right? And Solomon heard about it. And the king sent and called for Shimei and said unto him, did I not make thee swear by the Lord and protest to thee, saying, know for certain, on the day thou go out and walkest abroad anywhere, that thou shalt surely die? Question mark. He asked them this question. This is a very wise thing to ask somebody before you ask them, do you understand why this is happening to you? Because nothing is unclear. All right. When thou keepest an oath and a commandment I have charged thee, you didn't do that either. That word that I heard is you said it was good. You said it was good. All right. Then the king said, moreover, Shimei, thou knowest all the wickedness which is in thy heart is privy to, and thou didst to David my father. Therefore, the Lord shall return that wickedness onto your own head, and Solomon shall be blessed. Now, this is the thing. He's literally giving this guy a death sentence. And it's saying, so the king, and King Solomon shall be blessed, and the throne of David shall be established for the Lord forever. So in the midst of getting ready to kill this guy, you say, hey, and not only in your death, my kingdom is going to be established forever. One less person to go against. First, you went against my dad's house. Now his house is made right. But now it's also correct in my house. And so the king commanded Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, which went out and fell upon him, that he died. And the kingdom was established in the hands of Solomon. Let's put a pin right there. Solomon now sits on the throne. He's taking out everybody that stood in his way except for himself. And so, as we know, Solomon is he's getting ready to start moving his little 12-year-old heart to them teenage years and finding women and finding love and finding out that life is a little bit more different than just having people taken out. Because he did that as if it was second nature. Are there any questions?